Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News. As we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches, the BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, greetings, Boise State fans. Welcome on in courtside at ExtraMile Arena. Already a buzz in the air, Abe Jackson, 50 minutes before tip-off. You got fans already up in the balcony taking their seats. This is going to be a fun one as Boise State gets set to face Utah State in a monster showdown here at ExtraMile Arena. My name's BJ Rains. This is Abe Jackson. You'll hear him and Bob Beeler coming up on the call here in about 19 minutes over on 670 KBOI. And Abe, I mean, we're going to be saying this a lot this year probably. It's a big game. It's going to be a big crowd, but the first of many. But it's kind of one of those days where it's exciting driving into the arena today.
No, it's a great time for a game, too. You got Saturday, a 4:30 tip against a team that everyone in the community who follows Boise State basketball is familiar with in Utah State. We've gone through multiple conferences with them, so it's a program that a lot of people are familiar with. There is a buzz in the building. Utah State's 2-0. They're going to be the best team that Boise State has seen, I think, in the Mountain West, even though Nevada is looking like they might go to 4-0. They're crushing San Jose State right now. But it's going to be a great game, great environment. The energy's already here.
Yeah, the game is, I don't think, officially sold out. There was about 50 tickets left last I looked. So there's some mostly singles scattered throughout, but it's going to be close to a sellout today. And Abe, I mean, you've been coming to a lot of games here, man. There's just something different when this place is packed and this gym is rocking.
Well, I've told people from playing here and then also doing the broadcast for 15 years that when this place is full, it's still one of the loudest places that I've ever been in. There's a couple other ones that I can think of right off the bat that might have been louder, but it's definitely a top 5. So when this place, how the building is constructed, where it just seems like all the sound funnels right down onto the court, the home court advantage is true. And when this place gets packed, it's on Boise State's side.
Well, you see Boise State warming up on the court in front of us here, about 47 minutes until, I guess not tip-off, till the clock hits 0 and they do the starting lineups and things. But, Abe, obviously, Boise State's played some Power 5 games, but, I mean, this would probably be, or would be for sure, their best win of the season to date, probably the hardest team they've played. What do you make of Utah State? Obviously, guarding the 3 is going to be probably key number 1 today.
Oh, that is. And I know there's some other games in this season where you've asked me and you've said, what do the Broncos have to do defensively and offensively? And I say, well, they just have to do what they normally do, and they should be fine. This game's a little bit different. They are the most prolific three-point shooting team in the country in Utah State. 4 out of their 5 starters take away their center. 4 of their starters all shoot over 37% from 3. They bring a guy off the bench who shoots over 40% from 3. So you can't really just do what you normally do on defense against a team like this. You have to make some adjustments. But what's good for the Broncos is that they have typically been a very good defender of that three-point line in previous games.
And what is that? We saw the 2 games of Santa Clara and Nevada where they both made 10-plus threes. It's okay, you're a good three-point shooting defensive team. What does that mean? How do you guard the 3?
Well, one is that you get through screens, because that's one of the main ways that someone gets open from 3 is that you run off some screens. So you can get through screens and be on the hip of the shooter when they catch it and allow them no space. And then if it's very good communication between the rest of the players, that if there is a switch, you make sure to say it loud and you make sure to say it often if need be. So then there's none of that lull, none of that where you get together and then all of a sudden you're just staring your teammate in the face and you don't know who's going to guard the three. So communication and getting through screens, and then also challenging. I mean, there's a lot of times you'll get out to a three-pointer and you just won't go up and challenge. But the Broncos do a nice job of getting there, but getting a hand up as well.
You mentioned all the guys that can shoot the three. I mean, their best three-point shooter doesn't even start.
Right. And he's up there with anybody in the country, Ashworth. I mean, he's not very big. You look at him and you don't think he's a Division I basketball player, but he'll get out there and he will just be a killer from behind the arc.
He looks like one of those pests that, like, I envision very similar to what teams they're gonna think of Jace Whiting here in years to come.
Yeah, yes, and let's hope that Jace Whiting can get above 40% shooting threes. That would be very, very
and he's
nice.
Almost 4 made threes a game too, coming off the bench. I mean, that's crazy to think about. But what I just in general with Boise State, the win they got against San Jose, they obviously had a scoring lull there in the second half, made the big plays at the end, and then Shaver obviously did what he's done, numerous times. But what were your takeaways from the San Jose State game?
The first thing wasn't about Boise State at all. It's that I would put San Jose up against almost any team in the country as the most improved team. You go from a team that won just a handful of games and one game in conference last year to the San Jose State team that we saw on the court. They are much, much improved. What I like about the Broncos is that they got it done. It was remnants of last year in that game where there's so many close games, but somehow the Broncos figure out a way to get a win. The Broncos were 5-0 last year in shots that came down to the last shot. Either they got a defensive stop or pretty much Marcus Shaver hit the winner like he did against San Jose.
At some point, I know Boise State cleared the lane out, so Shaver could have driven and, also, but I mean, at some point, I guess, A, do you expect him to not go for the pull-up three and maybe go for the drive? And I guess, but B, I mean, at some point, what do teams do? Shouldn't they? I mean, don't you have triple team Marcus Shaver at some point?
I mean, I guess you could. But then what you don't want to do is leave someone wide open from three, even if it's not Marcus Shaver. Tyson Degenhardt struggling from three, but teams know he can shoot it, so you don't double off him. Najee Smith has shown that he can knock down some threes. There's something much different about hitting a challenged three. That's really where your percentages come from, because almost everything is challenged. If you could throw a double team or a triple team at someone to get that ball out of their hands and you leave someone wide open from three, that 25% shooter probably goes to 50. That 40% shooter probably goes to about 70 if it's wide open. So I don't really know what you do when Marcus has the ball in his hand and he has open court.
Speaking of threes, Tyson Degenhardt, we've talked about this before, but he's still struggling from the outside. 0 for 5 the other night from deep, down to 26% for the season. We talked to Leon and Tyson about it the other day, and Leon's not concerned. He says, you got to just keep shooting it. Tyson's not concerned. He says they're going to start to fall. I mean, are you seeing anything technically? Some people say maybe he's getting too tired having to guard the post players. What are you seeing with Tyson? And obviously, we don't think he's going to finish the year shooting 26% from three.
No, he won't be down there. He'll notch his way back up into the 30s, but I do think it's something about having to play that 5 position the entire season, where you're asked to do something extremely physical inside, and then 10 seconds later asked to do something really finesse and shoot a three-pointer. It's just really hard to get that even balance. But I don't see anything, technical with his shot or anything he's doing differently. They're just not falling right now. And we saw Max go through something like that last year, and he's showing how good of a shooter that he really is. And so you do go through some slumps as a shooter. But the mindset of a shooter when you're expected to shoot the three is to not hesitate. Don't hesitate. If you're open and it's a good shot, even if you've missed your last 5, shoot the ball, because that's what you're there to do.
We saw Max Rice last year struggle with that summer. He'd be wide open and kind of be gun shy to shoot at times.
And it's tough. It's tough because it starts to get into the mental game of things. But that's where the mental toughness comes, that you don't think about those last 5, like Marcus Shaver at Utah State. Didn't make a bucket all game,
0 for 10.
And then he makes it the final bucket to win the game against San Jose State. He doesn't make a single bucket in the second half, and then he makes the game winner. So that's the kind of mindset that everyone has to have when you're a shooter.
And Marcus Shaver also is not having a particularly great season from three, so you expect, he's got a lot of makes coming as well. Obviously made the big one. Final thing, Abe, before we let you go, we'll hear you and Bob in 12 minutes over on 670 KBOI with the pregame show. But we talked about stopping the three. What else does Boise State need to do to pick up their best win of the season?
Well, they have to rebound. In the 2 games that Utah State has played in conference, they've won both of them, and they've shot about 40% from three, and they've out-rebounded them by 13. So this could be the best rebounding and shooting team that Boise State sees all year long. So guarding the three, but then when you do guard the three, you have to know you have to box everybody out, because there's usually longer rebounds, and then you just have to secure that ball. If you get out-rebounded by 13 and you give up 40% from three, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people leaving here tonight.
Well, people are going to be watching FS1 with the sound down, listening to you guys on 670 KBOI. We appreciate it, as always, Abe. Thanks for the time, and have a good call with Bob. We appreciate it. There he is, Abe Jackson. He'll be on the call with Bob Beeler, the color commentary on the radio side, 670 KBOI, and we appreciate Abe Jackson for his time here at ExtraMile Arena. You see the Broncos on the court warming up. There is Sada Nganga. Somebody asking if he's going to be good to go today. It sounds like he is. We'll see. There he goes with the three-pointer right there. But what an atmosphere already. You got fans that's sitting in the last row of the stadium already in section 50, 56. I'm seeing people in the very last rows already here around the arena. I would say this is by far the biggest crowd we've had with still 40 minutes prior to tip-off. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere today. If you're going to this game, get on down here. If you're not going, I think there's less than 50 tickets. So there are a few tickets remaining, but not very many. So make sure you check before you come, because this game is approaching a sellout. There are some singles available if you're wanting to come down by yourself. I saw couples, 2s and 3s and 4s together in the top of the student section. Not very many, though. As always, let us know where you're watching from. Give us your score predictions. Give us your, give us some sort of prediction in terms of a player of the game or who you expect to bust out with a big game today for Boise State. We would love to see where you guys are watching from and give you some shout-outs. We'll take your score predictions as well. We're going to hear from Leon Rice in a little bit. We're going to hear from Tyson Degenhart as well. Max Rice. We got a lot to do here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor on the pre- and post-game shows. We appreciate them for their support. Do what the Raines family did. Make the switch to Lithia Ford of Boise. You will not be disappointed. A love of community and the sports that bring us together. That's why Lithia Ford of Boise is the official sponsor of Bronco Athletics. Proud to be a part of Bronco Nation News as well. But no matter what team colors you wear, Lithia Ford wants you to know you're welcome here. So again, thanks to Lithia Ford, our title sponsor on the pregame show. We're broadcasting from the Cutwater Canned Cocktail Studios. Courtside here at ExtraMile Arena, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Our title sponsor is RoePaint.com. ROEPaint.com. You can use the promo code BNN15. BNN15 is the promo code, and you get 15% off the interior painting of your house. So we appreciate RoePaint.com. And, of course, Idaho Central Credit Union. Get those comments in the ICCU YouTube chat. And make the switch today to ICCU.com. The mobile e-branch online banking. It's so easy to use. And we're appreciative of our folks at ICCU. We got Colin Mitchell sitting down, joining us courtside as well. A rare treat on the pregame show for fans to get Colin Mitchell here. And Colin, kind of a buzz in the atmosphere here, man.
Definitely. You can feel it already. Typically, it's about 10 minutes before tip when people start filing in, and we're still 38 minutes away, and it's not necessarily filled yet, but the fact that there's people on the top level and in the middle level, it's going to fill in, and I would expect a sellout.
Now, we got some clips we're going to play. You put these together. You were at the interviews with me on Thursday. Let's start with Utah State, and I'll cue the clip up, but give us the scouting report on Utah State, and you obviously have looked closely at this game.
Yeah, Utah State is a very good team this year. They sitting at 11-4 is Boise State. But in terms of their roster, you got Stephen Ashworth coming off the bench, and that's pretty much all you can say about the Aggies. He's a demon from outside. He's shooting over 50%. And in the starting lineup, you got Sean Bairstow, who's returning, and Rylan Jones. Taylor Funk is a new name this year that he might have been on the roster last year, not necessarily a role player, but this year he's taking a huge jump for them. They're a good team.
They are, and you mentioned Ashworth. The dude doesn't even start, as he said, and he's the top three-point shooter in the Mountain West and number 5 in the country, 53.8%, and he's also making almost 4 three-pointers a game. So not only is he making over half the ones he takes a lot of them, and he makes a lot of them. It's been pretty impressive. Again, one of the top three-point shooting team in the nation. And again, it's percentage, but it's also, they make over 10 a game. They let it fly. So stopping that three-point line is going to be huge tonight. And Boise State Coach Leon Rice and some players talked about the Aggies here on Thursday afternoon.
When you see a team that's like number 1 in the country in threes or close to it, I mean, can you appreciate their offense?
Oh, absolutely. I love how they move and how they cut, and it gets shooters open. And I think they got a lot of guys that work in their system, and they're all super efficient right now. So you're going to see that on Saturday for sure. Just a well-oiled machine, like I said.
They got great shooters, and like you said, I think you said it right. You're not going to stop them. They're going to get some up, and boy, when you just can't. We're not beating them in a game of horse. They're beating anyone in the country in horse. Well, somehow we can't let them just play horse. I think it's your team is based on how well they play together, and this is a team in Utah State that plays so well together. You look at Nevada last year; they were one of the most talented teams in the league, and they just didn't have the chemistry that they have this year, and that's why they've made a big jump. Well, I think not that Utah State had bad chemistry last year. I don't know. Wasn't inside of it, but when you watch these guys play, you know that they just play really, really well together, and they're making each other better, and that's what's making them click.
It's exciting, I don't think this year there's any cupcake games in this league. Any team can beat any team on any given night. So we know we have to bring it on Saturday, and we know that Utah State's going to bring it, so it's going to be a good game for us.
What do you think a game against the number one offense versus the number one defense in the Mountain West is going to look like?
It's going to be a challenge for us, especially, how well they shoot the three. And, we've had some games where we've given up a lot of threes, but I think we improved against San Jose State. So we're just going to continue to build off of our defense against San Jose State and hopefully continue that into Saturday.
And you see Utah State warming up on the court below us. Not below us, next to us. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my microphone there. Is it still too loud, or it sounds okay now?
I can hear you.
Let me know. It got really loud there for a second. I don't know. Sorry about that. But you see Utah State warming up. Going to be a tough one today. And as I said, a big crowd coming in. Broncos should be back on the court here in 4 or 5 minutes. Let's get some of those comments in on the ICCU YouTube chat. Our friend Josh says Shaver's going to get 20+. Greg Myers, watching from Caldwell, has 66 or 65-64, a last-second shot. 71-68. Shaver coming up clutch again. Jordan, if you got 3, my wife and kids might take you up on that. Let's see. We got Josh is on his way. Chase Love, 66-58. We're graced by the presence of Mike Prater on Press Row today as well. Always enjoy having Mike Prater on Press Row. He's working up another amazing column that you can read in the Idaho Press tomorrow. Fans walking behind us here. But another big storyline that you wrote about is Tyson Degenhart, Colin, and he's really been struggling, as I talked to Abe Jackson about, down to 26% from 3. And you wrote about it, and we're going to hear some clips here in a minute. But what'd you make of what you heard and kind of what you wrote when you were looking at Tyson's numbers and stuff?
Yeah, and as a freshman coming in shooting about 42%, and now he's around 26, I think 26.3. Tyson, he didn't seem necessarily discouraged and didn't seem like there was too much concern, but he definitely did realize that. I think he admitted that it hasn't been the same as last year. And when talking to Leon and both Max and Leon was basically saying he's going to let it fly and he's got to trust himself, and he's going to be his caddy on the court there to
I know you like the golf reference there. You did like the golf reference.
And Max went through it last year, and his was actually a little bit worse last year. And he just said typically stats will even out, and he thinks Tyson will even out as well.
Let's hear from Tyson, Leon, and Max about the struggles of Tyson Degenhart, and they're expecting him to bust out here pretty soon.
You asked you a couple of times now, but how frustrating is your outside shooting right now? You obviously know you're a better shooter than what you're showing. Is that getting to you at all? Or?
No, just coaches in my ear, just making sure to stay confident, and the shots are going to fall. I just haven't found the rhythm that I found last year, but they're coming. I know it.
Is it anything? I mean, I'm sure you would have already fixed it if it was anything technical. Is it just, are you noticing anything as to why, or are they just not going in?
They're just not going in, and just even with the misses, you just got to stay confident. You're going to make the next one, and it's just got to have a short memory and just take it one shot at a time.
A couple of times about Tyson's outside shooting, but it's just. I know you're going to say he's got a lot of makes coming.
Oh, boy, does he ever.
What have you seen from that? I mean, I don't think anyone expects him to be a 26-27% three-point shooter.
Oh, no, he's not. And that's huge that And that, as long as his mentality doesn't change, and it's my job to help him through that, because you forget when you coach a guy like Tyson, you expect him to be perfect. Like, I won't bother him. He's Tyson. He's Superman. But hey, I've seen good golfers come apart, pros, when they're not hitting the ball well. So they need a caddy to make sure their mind's right and they can flip it to the next play. Make sure they understand that, like, hey, yeah, bad luck. We missed a few here and there, and that. But he still is one of the best shooters I've coached, especially at the 4-5 spot. And so yeah, it's my job as his caddy to make sure he knows to trust that swing and let it fly.
Yeah, it's more mental than it is physical, obviously. I think he's fallen back a little bit on some of his shots just because of how the sets work out. But, yeah, I think sometimes it's just in the back of your head, like, do I shoot this? Like, I've been missing. But I think he'll stay confident. He'll be fine. And when those stats correct, it's going to be really good for us offensively. So,
how much better we saw it last year in the stats, but how much better we heard all offseason how he was improving his three-point shooting and then struggled. How much better of a shooter is what he's shown?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's at least 10 to 15% better. It's kind of a limited sample size right now. We've only played half the season, but usually statistics correct, and I think he'll end up right around 40 this year.
Well, there you go. Boise State players are confident that Tyson Degenhardt's shooting woes will soon end. Jordan, we actually needed 3 together for my kids and my wife, so we're okay. We got it figured out, but we appreciate your Jordan for that. Maybe you can find another Boise State fan if you want to go to the game. Jordan's got a couple tickets. 2 tickets in P7. Those are great seats. If you want to go to the game tonight and sit in a good spot, reach out. You better get down here in a hurry, though. We're 29 minutes from tip-off, but it's the hottest ticket in town. Get down here. You see Utah State warming up. Boise State should be back shortly, but Colin, give us an update. I know San Diego State and Wyoming are in a big battle as we speak here.
Yeah, they are, and Wyoming just took the lead on San Diego State. They were leading a couple of times throughout this game, but it was 68 to 69 that Wyoming is winning, and now it's 72-69 San Diego State. So they must have went on a little bit of a run before commercial, but yeah, so that would be a huge deal for Boise State in terms of the Mountain West standings to, I guess, not stay afloat, but get some momentum moving into the tough stretch here. You need San Diego State to lose some games along with New Mexico because they are both the superior teams from what it looks like early on this year.
No doubt about it. We're 28 minutes from tip-off. Got the crowd continuing to file in here. It's going to be an electric atmosphere at ExtraMile Arena. Boise State should be taking the court any minute here. But one of the players that will still be in that starting lineup, Max Rice, we found out officially. I'd heard some whispers about this, but they're trying to keep it quiet. Max Rice, a herniated disc in his back. And you see Boise State taking the court. The crowd making some noise as the Broncos come out for their warm-ups, wearing the retro pants today. But Max Rice, herniated disc in his back. Been dealing with it all the way back to before the Washington State game. Over a month with a herniated disc in his back. Tough kid, obviously. I've never had that, don't know. But that was a storyline that Max hasn't really wanted to talk about it. But Leon was like, well, I guess nothing's going to change now. So he informed everybody about it. But Max Rice having a heck of a season, and Colin, he's at less than 100% as well.
Yeah, no, it's he did mention that he's a tough guy and he can fight through some pain tolerance, and he's showing it now. And the funny thing about the whole thing with the herniated disc is that not only was Leon challenging him to play and saying that you're tough, you can get through it, but he was also challenging him as a leader at the same time and saying how he's really stepped up through all this, and he's been really impressed with 12.
He calls him 12, and then Max calls his dad Leon. He doesn't call him dad, or he's always, Leon said this and this. And, yeah, he calls him 12. He does. But he is having a heck of a season for Boise State. He's averaging 11.7 points per game. Made 24 three-pointers, and he made 24 all of last season. So that's all you need to know. He was 24 of 90 from three-point range. He's 24 of 70 right now with still half the season to go, and he's already equaled his three-point total from all of last season.
Wow.
Also shooting 93% from the free throw line, by the way, as well. So Max Rice has been having a great season despite being despite not being healthy. And his dad and his coach, Leon Rice, talking about his injury the other day.
I guess I can say it. It's not going to change the way teams try to go at him anyways. It doesn't matter. He's playing with a herniated disc. And his injury is one that, it's a living truth. He's playing, and he's out there, and he's fighting through it. And, some days it's better than others. Travel sometimes affects things because you're crunched up. But there's other kids. I know 2 programs where there's other kids that have the same thing he has, and they're not even playing. And it shows you how tough he is. And so all things considered, I think he's playing great. And he's given it up for the team, and he's been out there every single game, and he's never taken a play off or, so I'm really proud of him with his toughness and showing up for the team. And because that's the kind of guy he is. Only thing he cares about is winning. And if he scored 25, doesn't matter if we didn't win, he wouldn't care. Or if he scored 0, doesn't matter, he wouldn't care. As long as he's knowing he's helping us win, that's all he cares about. I knew that he had bad genes, and but seriously, I went through the same thing. I had bad hips, which he's got bad, bad discs, all that stuff. That's probably where he got it. I don't think I was ever diagnosed at that age, but when I look back, they asked me like, "Well, when did this start for you?" And I said, "Oh, 1984." So it's there's genetics involved there, no doubt. And Max is a competitor, and every time in his whole life, every time I've really, really challenged him, he maybe gets mad at me, but man, he responds. And, so I'll push his buttons and challenge him a little bit because I know that he's one of the best competitors I've been around. And, I think his brothers will attest to that in the driveway. And anyone that, that has competed against him knows that. And, and that's what this team needs. We need his leadership. We need his, so I'm challenging him on that a lot too, because that guy sees the game, knows the game beyond like as good as any coach. I mean, when Max says something like, "Hey, we need to look at this," I'm like, "Oh yeah," I pay attention because he's watched this league forever. He's watched this program forever. He's, it's like a 15-year veteran on your team.
Well, there he is, Leon Rice, and Max Rice playing at less than 100%, but he's still having a heck of a season. He shoots much better from 3 at home. I think Jay Tuss had a tweet about that earlier in the week, and they're going to need a big game from Max Rice today, as well as everybody. I think Tyson Degenhart, but a guy like Najee Smith. You're going to need everybody. Maybe this is the Sada game or the Mo Silla game. They're going to need everybody to step up. And I think Kobe Young could be a factor today, particularly because of his defense, getting out there trying to defend the 3-point line. So obviously, a lot of guys are probably going to see some action today. Hey, if you're looking for a new job, check out transcomservice.com. How about becoming a truck driver? It's a great industry right now. It's booming. You can make a lot of money in the trucking industry. Talking the big rig on your screen or the Amazon truck in your neighborhood. Transcomservice.com will take care of you with the permits and things. Check them out. If you're looking for a dentist, Boise Dentistry Co., BoiseDentistryCo.com. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley from Mountain Home to Caldwell, everywhere in between. Full family dentistry. They're the best in the business. I'll be seeing them here in a couple weeks. Check them out at BoiseDentistryCo.com. How about United Commercial Insurance? If you're looking for insurance for your business, they're the best in the business. They can make it easy and quick, save you a lot of money. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. Check them out. UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. You will not be disappointed. Look who's in the building here. Let's see if I can get him on the screen. He's stopping at all. He's taking a picture with somebody, of course. We'll give you Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. 13 Idaho locations. Find the one near you at shopridleys.com. Love the CUNA location. Go download the Ridley's app. The Pimp is in the house. Here he is. We got to switch the thing here. Where is he? There he is. Look who it is. The Pimp. It's a big. He got the grill in there and everything, man. Look at this. My kids will take him. My kids will take him. 2 kids. Perfect. Thank you. The Pimp's giving out beads. It's Mardi Gras, baby.
Thank you.
We appreciate it, Pimp. Thanks, man. No, give him to the kid. Give him to everybody else. Give him one. They'll fight over it. We're good. The pimp's giving out Christmas gifts here. We appreciate it, man. There he is. Only guy we'll stop the advertisements for is the BSU pimp. Check out the Blue and Orange store, theblueandorangestore.com. I see Travis Hawk sitting over there. Enjoyed catching up with him recently. Theblueandorangestore.com. Free shipping, any order over $40. That's right, free shipping, any order over $40. Check it out at theblueandorangestore.com. Matt Bauscher Real Estate, he's sitting courtside. He's going to be fired up for this one. This is the game Matt Bauscher, starts to get on the refs a little bit. This is the game that, sold-out crowd that Matt Bauscher's been waiting for. So Bauscher Real Estate, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt Bauscher. Let him and his team take care of you at BauscherRealEstate.com. And, of course, Timberstone Golf Course. They got the indoor simulators. They got the lessons going on with Tad Halloway. So get out there to Timberstone. Get more information, playtimberstone.com. Just because the weather's not great and it's mid-January, you need to get out there and work on that game. So when the time comes, when the weather warms up, you're still ready to go. Play at timberstone.com. Our officials are making their way onto the floor. The veteran of many years, David Hall, our lead official, coming out here. He just did the Santa Clara game, also did the Washington State game as well. So David Hall, he's everywhere. I think he was in Reno the other night. Best in the business. David Hall, best in the business. There's your officials walking by. Should be a fun one, man. David Hall's like royalty, man. This guy is probably he's got to be in his 60s. Got to be, right?
Yeah.
Upper 50s maybe. And he's out here doing four or five games a week. I mean, it's pretty impressive. But Colin, final thoughts on this one before we get out of here.
The Broncos are going to need bench points tonight. Only 10 points the last 2 games, 5 in each. I think that's the key, and that will be the difference in this game if they do lose. Or if they win. So, exactly. So, I just think the bench needs to step up. They need more contribution from them, and overall, I think that's going to be the difference. My prediction probably about 72. Let's go 72-67. I said 72-63 in the Bronco Nation News forums yesterday, but we're going to bump that up.
By the way,
go of Utah State.
Go post in the forums. I'm on company time paying Colin to post in the forums. We need to get more people in there posting. We're going to give away some gift cards to the best poster next week. So get on in the forums. We're trying to build those up. BroncoNationNews.com. We'll be posting regularly in there, both of us moving forward with news and updates and discussions. So get on into the Bronco Nation News forums. And those are going to be a big deal moving forward. It looks like San Diego State up 4 now, so they made a big comeback here in the last 2 minutes. San Diego State up 79-75 on Wyoming. So there's 36 seconds left, so we'll see if San Diego State can pull that out. That would be big for Boise State if San Diego. But that shows you next Saturday when Boise State goes to Laramie what they're in for. That's still that's still a quality team, even though they've been struggling without Graham Ike. So you see Boise State warming up. You see the officials. What a crowd. We got to get off here to not break any rules from the Mountain West. Can't be on too close to game time here. But I was going to put my kids on the screen, but they didn't show up in time. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll have full coverage post-game. We'll have the full live post-game show. I would anticipate, Colin, this be one of our more watched shows of the year with the game on the line and also the time of day. So BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'd love to have you. BroncoNationNews.com. And again, we'll have the live post-game show after the game. Interviews with Coach Rice and players, highlights, all kinds of good stuff after the game. Check us out, Bronco Nation News on YouTube, also on Twitter, also on Facebook, Instagram, all those. So make sure to check us out. We appreciate everybody for watching us. That'll do it. He's Colin Mitchell. I'm BJ Rains. 15 minutes from tip-off. Get to a TV, Fox Sports 1, or get down here. We'll see you soon. Should be a fun afternoon of basketball here at ExtraMile Arena. Boise State, Utah State, big one here at ExtraMile Arena, and we'll have full coverage during the game on social media after the game with our show. Enjoy it, folks. This has been the Lithia Florida Boise postgame or pregame show from Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.